Recognize the member for Cowichan Valley.
Thank you, Chair. I'm sure the Minister is aware of the excitement that arrived in Shawnigan Lake when the Supreme Court made their decision. But let's start with a question to the Minister regarding that decision. Will the Minister agree with the Supreme Court Judge McKenzie that the operation of a landfill and a small gravel quarry is not a mining activity as governed by the BC Mines Act?
Thank you. Minister.
Thanks, Honourable Chair. I should make the member aware that I'm likely to be referring some of his questions to the Ministry of Environment. They are responsible for permitting around the deposit and management of contaminated materials, including contaminated soils. We deal with the permit for a quarry, and so we don't actually have jurisdiction over the whole contaminated soils matter. So that's the best I can do. I don't want to start conjecturing around what a judge said in a particular case, but those are the facts.
Thank you. Member?
Let's try this follow-up. Do you agree that, through you, Chair, does the Minister agree that operating a contaminated waste landfill is not within the standard practice of reclamation of mines here in British Columbia or done in any small gravel pit ever in BC, for that matter?
Thank you. Minister.
Well, Honourable Chair, I'm very flexible in terms of the kinds of questions that we get in estimates. Very few of them are ever about the actual budget for the ministry, and I accept that. It's a good opportunity for the opposition that often doesn't get the opportunity to ask questions, although I would take questions in question period if they wanted to ask me more questions about mining there. But in any case, it's not a cross-examination, so I'm not going to be answering leading questions like, does the minister agree with what the judge said? I'm going to let the lawyers in government determine what they think of the lawsuit, and we'll go from there.
Thank you. Member?
Well, I'm not trying to cross-examine. What I am interested in is if the minister is aware of other sites in British Columbia. Let's try that. Are there any other sites in British Columbia where there is contaminated landfill used as a standard part of mine reclamation?
Minister.
Yeah, the question, I think, is am I aware of any other mine sites in the province where contaminated soil is being deposited? I think that was the question. If it wasn't, the member will ask it again. I'm not aware of any mine sites in the province where contaminated soil is currently being deposited. I have no idea, and I can't really say to the member with any degree of assurance whether it's happened in the past anywhere in BC or whether it is apt to happen in the future. It clearly is something that's within the law, or it wouldn't be happening. But I don't know the regularity of it, and we're not aware right now today of another mine site where there is contaminated soil being dumped. Just a point of clarification. The member indicated that I think that at the site in his area of the province that has been so controversial, that contaminated soil is being used in the ordinary course of reclamation of the mine site. And I'm not sure that is correct. There is contaminated soil being dumped on a quarry site that has a permit to be a quarry site from the Ministry of Energy and Mines. I'm not certain that the member is correct that contaminated soil is actually being used there as part of the normal reclamation of the site.
Thank you. Member?
Well, again, through the chair, I was satisfied with the answer up until the part where I think I heard the minister say that that it must not be against the law or it wouldn't be happening. Well, in fact, it's not happening, and I'm happy to celebrate that once again, that the reason it's not happening is the Supreme Court, which I'm I know full well that the minister is clear that that's one of the highest authorities of law in the province of British Columbia, has determined that in fact it should not be happening. And so, to be clear, let's get back to, well, maybe I could just clarify that once again. Is it your suggestion that we're making new laws up as we go along, that it is somehow lawful either under the Mining Act, or I assume you don't want to comment on the Minister of Environment, but it would be a revelation to our community to find that it's somehow under the law to have this going on in mine sites in British Columbia. I don't think we can leave that one open like that. It sounds like you're suggesting there's some legality somewhere, and again, I'm not clear on that. I thought we just had a definitive win, and somehow I feel like you're trying to snatch that away from the good people of Shawnigan, and I won't be part of that. So, through the chair, could we have some clarity on that law?
Thank you. Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. I want to assure the member I'm not trying to snatch anything other than perhaps the clock. The reason that I said that what I did was because as I understand it, the lawsuit was about the local government's bylaw and whether they had the right to prohibit certain things, and the court agreed that they had the right to prohibit certain things. That's what the lawsuit was about. So it was about the bylaw. It wasn't about the rules that the laws or the regulations that I am responsible for as minister.
Thank you.